The Battle for My Land, a Nevada farmer's fight for justice. In the heart of Nevada's sun-scorched plains, where the horizon stretches like a promise never kept, I, Walter Grayson, inherited 5,000 acres of rugged earth from my grandfather. It was a patchwork of barley fields, a crumbling barn, and a stretch of barren hills we called the Devil's Backbone land, so desolate, it seemed God himself had turned his back on it. I was 52, weathered by years of coaxing life from stubborn soil, when my quiet world erupted into a war I never saw coming. This is the story of how I discovered 10 luxury homes built on my land without a whisper of permission and how I fought to take it all back. It started on a crisp April morning in 2023. I was sipping bitter coffee on my porch, the wind rattling the tin roof, when my friend Tommy, a crop-dusting pilot with a grin as wide as the Sierra Nevada, landed his rickety plane on my dirt strip. "Walt," he said, spitting a sunflower seed, "you got mansions sprouting on your hills like weeds." I thought he'd lost his mind. "You been drinking jet fuel?" I shot back. But Tommy swore he'd seen steel frames and asphalt trucks on the northern ridge. My coffee went cold as I grabbed my grandfather's old parcel maps. Every inch of those hills was mine, marked in faded ink. Grayson Family Trust, sections 12 to 21. No sales, no easements, no deals. By noon, I'd rented a drone from a shop in Reno and driven to the closest dirt road near the backbone. The drone's feed hit me like a punch. 10 houses, half-built, their steel skeletons gleaming under the sun. Piles of roofing tiles sat smugly beside gravel roads carved into my land like scars. Signs screamed, Silver Ridge Estates, Phase 2 Luxury HOA Homes, Summer 2024. My name wasn't on those signs, but my blood was in that dirt. No one had called, written, or filed a thing. This wasn't a mistake, it was theft, bold and calculated. I drove home, opened a notebook, and declared war. Sleep didn't come that night. My mind churned with images of those houses squatting on my hills, mocking me. At dawn, I dug through my grandfather's files, tax receipts, surveyor notes, a 1981 plat map stamped and notarized. The backbone was mine, untouched by any sale. The Washoe County Assessor's database confirmed it. I'd paid the taxes just weeks before. So, how did someone dare build on it? I called Ed Harper, a retired surveyor and old friend of my grandfather's. "Walt," he said, voice sharp, "this ain't just encroachment. It's a heist." He agreed to survey the land at sunrise. The next morning, Ed's GPS gear confirmed the houses were 200 yards inside my boundary. "They knew your line and ignored it," he said, shaking his head. We staked the perimeter, filmed every inch, and I marched into the Washoe County Planning Office with a binder thick as a Bible. Clerk Sarah Jenkins was stunned. "There's no record of Silver Ridge Phase 2, she said, flipping through my evidence. Then she froze at a permit with a signature claiming to be from a prior owner. "That's not mine," I said. "And my grandfather's been dead 5 years." Sarah's face tightened. "This could be fraud. I'm escalating it to the county attorney." The plot thickened when I stumbled onto a real estate fair on my land days later. SUVs lined the ridge, a food truck hawked organic bites, and there, commanding the scene like a queen, was Diane Kessler, the Silver Ridge HOA president. Mid-50s, hair sprayed stiff, she was pitching luxury living to starry-eyed buyers. I strode up, boots crunching gravel, and her smile vanished. "You're trespassing," she snapped. "No, ma'am," I said, holding up my binder. "This is my land, and you've built 10 houses on it without a lick of right." The crowd murmured, but Diane scoffed. "This is Silver Ridge, fully permitted. Leave, or I'll call the sheriff." "Go ahead," I said. "Ask for Sheriff Ray Dillon." Ray, my late father's hunting buddy, arrived in his cruiser, tipped his hat, and turned to Diane. "Care to explain why you're on Grayson land?" Her jaw locked. I handed Ray my evidence, and he cleared the site, suspending all work. Diane's eyes burned, but I knew she wouldn't quit. Sure enough, a week later, construction crews were back, hammering away like nothing had happened. I parked my truck in their path and confronted the foreman. "HOA says it's a misunderstanding," he mumbled. "Tell Diane," I said. "She's digging her own grave." I hired Laura Bennett, a Reno attorney nicknamed the Iron Rose for her polite but ruthless style. She filed a civil suit demanding the houses, damages, and personal liability for Diane and her accomplice, Carl Tatum, a disgraced ex-HOA treasurer. Laura uncovered a bombshell, forged signatures on permits, traced from my grandfather's 1990 deed. Emails between Diane and Carl, leaked by an HOA insider, revealed their plan to build and sell before I noticed. "The farmer's too busy," Diane wrote. "We've got a gold mine." My anger wasn't just hot, it was molten. The county launched a criminal probe. Sheriff Ray served cease and desist orders, and the DA issued arrest warrants. Diane and Carl were cuffed her in Sparks, him in Carson City, where deputies found fake permits and rubber county seals in his garage. Local news exploded. HOA leaders busted in land fraud scandal. Diane's mugshot, her perfect hair now limp, was everywhere. I felt no joy, only exhaustion. This land, my family since 1940, had been targeted because they thought I was weak. The trial was a spectacle. Laura presented drone footage, ED surveys, and bank records tying Diane to illicit profits. The prosecution revealed 3 houses sat on a protected mule deer corridor, inviting federal scrutiny. Diane's defense claiming she thought the land was abandoned crumbled when her own words were read. "The farmer won't check those hills." The jury took 4 hours. Guilty on all counts: fraud, forgery, conspiracy. Diane got 7 years. Carl, 12, no parole. The judge awarded me the 10 houses, declaring them mine uncontestably. At sentencing, Diane stood defiant, but her hands shook. "You abused trust and stole with arrogance," the judge said. Carl just slumped. The HOA collapsed, its board fleeing like rats. I faced a choice: sell the houses, sue the county, or tear them down. Instead, I did what my grandfather would have done. I fixed them simple, sturdy, no frills. Partnering with a nonprofit, I rented them to young farmers and conservationists at low rates, each signing a pledge to steward the land. By spring 2024, 7 houses were alive with tenants raising chickens, planting native grasses, and even building a solar pump. I carved a cedar sign at the ridge's edge: Grayson Land. Private. EST 1940. Prove you belong or turn back. At night, I drive up to see lights in those windows, not a sterile subdivision, but a community rooted in respect. The backbone is mine again, not just in law, but in spirit. I didn't want this fight, but I won it, and my family's legacy stands taller than ever. What do you think? Was I right to fight tooth and nail, or should I have settled? How would you handle betrayal and injustice in your own life? Share your thoughts below. Let's debate the cost of standing up to greed and corruption. Your voice matters.